Okay, so dependency injection is a software design pattern. So like whoops in uh, C sharp. Okay, dependency injection is a software design pattern in which components are given their dependency instead of hard coding them within the component. Okay, so without giving the hard coding, okay, sometimes we will provide the uh, hard coding values, right? Okay, so without provide the hard coding values, okay, we can use this method to pass the values to the controllers. Okay, so we can define our own custom services in AngularJS app. Okay, and use them wherever required. Okay, so in AngularJS, services and factories are very important concepts. Okay, so we can define these services and controllers. Okay, and we can inject these service and controllers wherever we required in the controllers. Okay, so this is the value method to initialize the variables. Okay, in C sharp or core Java. So if you want to declare the variable, okay, type int I equal to 10. So like this we can declare, we can define the variable. So in AngularJS, use value method, okay, and variable name and value. Okay, so first of all, value method. So value is a simple JavaScript object and it is used to pass values to controllers during configuration phase. Okay, so suppose if you want to pass the variables, okay, pass the variables into controllers. Okay, so we can use this value method, okay, and app dot by using AngularJS application module, okay, dot value method. In the value method, we have to initialize the variable. Okay, so my init value. So this is the variable and this is the value. Okay, so this value is stored in my init value. So okay, so we can use this variable. Okay, we can use this variable in any controller, any services, any factories. Okay, any custom directory also we can use this. So here we require this variable in controller, so that we have created this. Okay, and after controller, in the controller function, we have to inject this variable. Okay, before you use that variable in the controller. Okay, so everything, so either you use HTTP service or Q service or anything. Okay, if you want to use that variable or services or anything, okay, first of all we have to inject that. Okay, whatever you're using, the public object or any normal variable, okay, compulsory we have to inject that. Okay, after you initialize this variable here, you can use that variable in the controller. Okay, so without inject this variable here, we cannot use. So nothing but this like import. Okay, so for example, in the location 3 controller, uh, so I want to display sum of two numbers. Okay, my app dot value. Okay, number one. Okay, so that is variable. Okay, 25. map that value num2. Okay, this also 25. So I want to display, okay, sum of these two numbers. Okay, so if you are using this num1 and num2 in the controller, location 3 template. So this is redirected template, right? So we can use this variable in the location 3. So in the location 3 you can display sum of two numbers. Sum of two numbers. Okay, my result. So this is the variable, scope variable. Scope dot my result equal to num1 plus num2. Okay, so run this example. Okay, so this is the index.html is the starting point. Okay, for every single page application. So go to location 2. Okay, so my result. So there is no result. Okay, so the variable is displaying there. Go to inspect. You can find the error here. Okay, num1 is not defined. Okay, so we have to inject this num1 in the controller function. Okay, num1 comma num2. Now the result will display. Okay, sum of 50. Okay, so like this we have to inject the values or services or factories or custom directories or anything. Okay, first of all we have to inject this in the controller function, and after that we can use it in the controller. Okay, so you want to create the variables. Okay, you can do like this, and we can use that variables in the controller like this. And next one, factory. So factory is a function, okay, JavaScript function, and which is used to return a value. Okay, uh, so whenever controller is required the values, okay, the value is generated by the factory and returned to the controllers. Okay, so factory is a function which is used to return value. So it creates value on demand whenever a service or controller requires. Okay, so whenever a service or controller requires the values, so it will generate the return value, okay, and pass to the controllers or services. For example, here we can take two text boxes. Okay, number one, type equal to text placeholder number one, ng model equal to number one, and number two, placeholder and g model equal to num2. Okay, so when you click on this button, type equal to button, value equal to sum, and you click equal to get sum. Okay, so you want to display the sum of these two numbers in my result. Okay, so this is the example to create the values, and now the example is factory. Map.factory. Okay, some fact. Okay, so this is the factory name. Okay, like controller. So we have to inject this factory name in the controller. Okay, comma function, and after that in the factory. Okay, so where factory is the one variable. Okay, to return the value. Okay, so this is the object type variable, and this factory dot multiply. So this is the one function. Okay, one function. So this function takes two parameters. Okay, a comma b. So like number one and number two, and this is the function, and the return value is a plus b. Okay, so the a plus b return value return to the controller. Okay, through factory variable. Okay, so factory is a function. Okay, this is the one function which is used to return value. Okay, we are returning the value, and it creates a value demand whenever a service or controller request. And here, so this factory name, okay, you can inject here. Okay, or okay, so factory name, um, scope dot this function get sum equal to function. Okay, so we can display the result. Okay, sum fact dot this is sum function. Okay, sum of 2 is the function name. Okay, and we can pass the values scope dot num1 comma scope dot num2. Okay, so here this is the scope variables 2. Okay, num1 and num2. Okay, we are passing these two values, okay, to this factory function. Okay, so the functionality will be done in factory, okay, function, and return the result to the scope variable. Okay, the sum of two numbers addition, okay, will be done in factory. Okay, the result is displayed in my result scope variable. Okay, so this is the two parameters. These two parameters goes to this function. Okay, and a plus b and return the value to this. So now run this example. 5 plus 5. Okay, so the 55 displaying because the string values, okay, text box values always string data type. Okay, so we have to convert this string to integer. There is one method in JavaScript, okay, parse into. Parse int. Okay, so now you will get the correct answer. Okay, 5 plus 5, 10. Okay, so any value you can give here. Okay, so the result will be displayed in the result variable. Okay, so like this we can done the functionality in the factory functions, and the result is returned to the controllers. Okay, so this is the one function which is used to return value. Okay, the functionality will be done in factory functions, and the result is returned to the controller to display. And next one is, so factory is a single function. Okay, and the service is a collection of functions. Okay, so this collection of functions return the values, okay, to the controllers. So compulsory we have to inject this service also in controller. Service is a singleton JavaScript object containing a set of functions to perform certain tasks. Services are defined using service map functions and then injected into controllers. Okay, so in real-time applications, okay, these services are used to read the data from the database. Okay, yesterday we have done the HTTP example, right? So, so when you are using the services, okay, uh, so use that services in the services functionality and interact with the database through services, and result is returned to the controller. Okay, this service is return the result to the controller. For example, my app dot service. Okay, my math service. Okay, function. Okay, this function we can create number of functions in this service. So addition is one function, subtraction is one function, multiply and divide. So all these are different functions. And this dot addition equal to function. Okay, this function takes the values a comma b. Okay, and the result is returned. Return a plus b. Okay, so we can use this service name and the controller. Okay, so now comment this, but same functionality here also. My math service and an addition function. Okay, the result will be displayed in my result variable. Okay, 16 is displayed in the result variable. Okay, same functionality service also, but we can define number of functions in the service, and factory we can define only one function to return the variable, to return the value. And if you want to use the service in the services, okay, put this comment. This dot my function equal to function. Okay, and this function return this scope. Where states okay, states, the states variable is returned to the this function equal to my math dot this function name, my function. Okay, my states my math service function is goes to here and execute the service, and the result will be stored in states. Again, this function is return the states to this scope variable. Okay, let's see the result. HTTP is not defined. In the service, we have to use this. defined. Okay. So there is another process to call the services in the services. Okay, so I will explain this tomorrow. Okay, but now we can use math functions. Okay, so math functions will return the value, okay, to that controller. Okay, so I will explain this one in the queue service. Okay, so queue service is important to read the services, the services part. And next, okay, so provider is used to create a configurable service object and returns value by using get function. Okay, so this is not important and constant. So to create the constant variables, okay, my app dot constant and variable name and constant value. Okay, HTTP service. Okay, so location service. Okay, so this location service, okay, we can relocate, like we can redirect from one pen template to another template. Okay, so the location service passes the URL in the browser address bar and makes the URL available to your application. Okay, so for example, when you log into the application, okay, given the username and password and click login button. Okay, so they check the username and password. Okay, the username is password is correct or not. If the username is password is correct, uh, again it is goes to home page. So login template you can create here. So login username, type equal to text, placeholder, username, password, type equal to password we can use or text also we can use. Okay, and after that login button, type equal to button and value equal to login. Okay, next ng click equal to login function. Okay, so now when you run the application, okay, but default is login we have to display. Okay, login template. Okay, login template will display. And after login to the application, so in my control, this is the main controller. In the main controller, okay, we can use this part. Okay, location service. Okay, so location service we have to inject. Okay, the location scope dot username equal to admin and password is admin. Okay, and login submit. So login function. Okay, so if username is scope dot username equal to this scope dot, so here we can use ng model to get the username and password. Okay, uname model equal to password. Uname and password is scope dot pswd. Okay, scope dot pswd. So by default here we have created admin username and password, and we are checking the text box username and password. Okay, to this username and password. If the username is password is correct, so we can redirect to um, home. Okay, we can redirect to home. So now run this example once. Okay, so username and password is displaying. Admin. Okay, and login field. Scope dot username, uname, uname, ng model, scope dot password equal to scope dot pswd. Comment function location dot path home. again failure. Okay, so after complete the location service, so total this queue service promise rejected. Okay, default. So number of these concepts is there in the queue service. Service assignment. Okay, so emit broadcast on emit broadcast and on. So broadcast nothing but dispatch an event handler to the uh, root scope. Okay, so it dispatch an event handler downwards to all child scopes. Okay, so we can use uh, uh, number of controllers. Okay, within the controller. Okay, we can use child controllers, right? In AngularJS, here we have in main home.html, okay, index.html, we have the controller. Okay, so we can use child controllers also in the my controller. Okay, so it dispatches an event handler event name downwards to all child scopes. Child scopes nothing but inner controllers. Okay, we can use uh, number of controllers inside a controller. So if you want to pass the data from main controller to child controller, okay, so we can use broadcast. If you want to pass the data main controller to child controller, okay, that is downwards, right? It dispatches an event name downwards to all child scopes. So and notify to the registered root scope listeners. So root scope listeners means, so this is entire ngRP's root scope. Okay, so this is register the listeners. Okay, event listeners, and the event is registered in the root scope listeners and pass the data to the child scope. The event lifecycle start at the scope on which broadcast was called. So broadcast was called means parent controller. For example, here we have these two controllers, app first controller and second controller. Okay, in the first controller we have the button. Okay, when you click on the button, the event goes to second controller and display the result in the second controller only. Okay, emit broadcast and apply. So broadcast example. Okay, here in the body tag we have defined the ng app, okay, app, and the div tag. So this div tag contains ng controller Okay, this is the first controller. Okay, in the first controller we have another controller. Okay, this is the child controller. In the first controller we have text box. Okay, and this text box contains ng model, directive and message. So this is the scope variable, and again we have one button. Okay, ng click equal to handle click message. So when you I want to pass the message. Okay, whatever you type in the text box, I want to pass this message to the second controller and display that message in the scope variable, message variable. So when you click on this, the handle click function, okay, goes to ng controller, okay, second controller, and display the message in the message scope variable. Okay, here first controller, in the first controller we have button click. Okay, scope dot handle click. Okay, handle click is passing the message. Okay, this is the parameter, message parameter. This message parameter in the function handle click function, scope dot broadcast. Okay, this is one service. Okay, uh, pass the event handler to the child scopes. Broadcast, pass the event handler to the child scopes. Broadcast event name. So this event name is any name you can give here. Okay, and same name we have to use this event name and event name, and this is the parameter, so message parameter. So this event goes to on. So on is the service, okay, to execute the event handlers, okay, dispatched by broadcast and emit. On listen the events of the given type, okay, handle the events, so it can catch the event dispatched by broadcast and emit. Okay, so on is the service to listen the events, okay, dispatched by broadcast and emit. So now the on service listen the event handler from the broadcast and execute this function, and the scope dot message equal to arguments, we are passing the arguments, okay, message, and scope dot log, so no need this. So run this example. Okay, so this is main controller, okay, parent controller, and this is the same child controller. So I want to pass this name, okay, name, this name to the child controller. Okay, the text message is goes to child controller using broadcast. Okay, so this is broadcast, and emit, so emit nothing but upwards. Okay, events is goes to upwards from child scope to parent scope. If suppose if you want to pass the message from child scopes to parent scopes, okay, we can use emit, and it dispatches an event name upwards. Okay, upwards means child scopes to parent scopes through the scope hierarchy and notify to the registered root scope listeners. Okay, the event is registered in the root scope listeners, and the event lifecycle start at the scope on which emit was called. Emit was called in child scope, child controller, right? So this event lifecycle start from the second controller. Broadcast event lifecycle start from the parent controller. Okay, same here also handle click, and this event is goes to, okay, on is listen the event from the emit, okay, and execute the function. Okay, so in the main controller, first controller, so we have the message scope variable. In the child controller, we have the text box and button. So when you click on this button, the handle click function is executed in the second controller. Okay, the second controller call the emit service. This emit service, okay, so created the event name and arguments. So to this event, this is the arguments. So this emit is um, dispatching the event, okay, this event, and this on listen the event from the emit. Okay, they call the event name and execute this function. Okay, and this is the event and arguments, and scope dot message equal to args dot message. Okay, whatever you type in the text box, the text is goes to the parent controller. This is child controller. So click on emit. The text is goes to parent controller. Okay, passing the value from child scope to child controller to parent controller. Okay, this is also one important concept. Okay, so in interviews also they will ask how you can pass the values from parent controller to one controller to another controller. Okay, and from parent controller to child controller to parent controller.